Welcome to this explainer. If you're navigating Atlanta's utility systems for the very first time, or maybe you just need a quick refresher on the current rules, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're going to dive deep into everything you need to know to establish your municipal water and sewer services completely headache-free.
So you just moved to Atlanta, right? And you're probably wondering, how on earth do I get my water flowing smoothly? Well, stay tuned, because we're about to walk you through every single step needed to set up your water service seamlessly. We're going to look at exactly what documents you need, where to go, and how to dodge those common pitfalls that always seem to delay applications. By the end of this explainer, we'll have this whole process completely figured out together.
Here is our quick roadmap for today. Number 1, welcome to Atlanta Water. Number 2, gathering required documents. 3, the application process. 4, managing your water bill. And finally, number 5, troubleshooting and support. Okay, let's jump right into Section 1. Welcome to Atlanta Water. You know, getting your service up and running always starts with knowing exactly who to contact. It's kind of crazy how decentralized the Atlanta metro area actually is. You might just assume your address falls under the City of Atlanta's Department of Watershed Management. But depending on your exact location, you might actually be serviced by Fulton County Public Works or even another surrounding jurisdiction. Applying to the wrong municipal entity? Yeah, that can cause major delays, especially if you're in the middle of a real estate closing. So your absolute first step must be to verify your specific jurisdiction using your property deeds or municipal GIS mapping tools. And before we move on, I have to give you a crucial warning. Beware of master meters. If you live in a multifamily complex, a commercial development, or certain townhome communities, your property might be serviced by a third-party master meter. If that's the case, the city is not going to set up an individual account for you directly. Your service would actually be managed through your homeowners association or property manager. So definitely check your property status first. Moving right along to Section 2, gathering required documents. Having the exact right paperwork is key to preventing those super frustrating application rejections. There is a very strict distinction between what property owners and renters need to provide. If you're an owner, you need your closing documents. We're talking a settlement statement, a HUD disclosure, or a warranty deed that closely shows the physical address. Now, if you're a renter, you've got to provide a current primary lease agreement, and it has to include both the terms page and the execution page with all the signatures. And a massive heads up here. Purchase sale agreements and subleases? No way. They are strictly rejected. You literally must be the legal deed holder or the primary leaseholder.
Beyond proving where you live, there are a few universal requirements everyone needs. You absolutely must have a legible, valid, government-issued ID, like a driver's license or a passport, along with the completed new service application. Setting up a commercial account for a business? Well, you're also going to need to submit a W-9 and an IRS Form SS-4 showing your employer identification number. And finally, if you're setting this whole thing up on behalf of a business you don't actually own, you'll need a formal letter of authorization on official company letterhead.
All right, Part 3, the application process. This is where we actually hand over that paperwork and pay the setup costs. The process is basically a 3-step dance. Step 1 is submitting your documents. You can do this online via the DWM customer web portal, you can fax them, or you can just go in person. Step 2 is paying your required fees. Now, if you apply online or by fax, these fees are going to magically appear on your first bill. But if you go in person, you'll pay them right then and there. And Step 3, set realistic expectations. Once all your verified documents are received, you've got to allow up to 5 business days for the actual water connection to happen.
Let's talk dollars and cents for a second. Every single new customer is required to pay a standard account establishment fee. That non-refundable fee is currently exactly $15.
On top of that establishment fee, you're also required to put down a security deposit. The minimum security deposit for a standard residential setup is $80. But keep in mind, this deposit actually scales upward based on the physical size of the meter at your service address. So if your property uses a larger 1-inch meter or greater, you should definitely expect that deposit to be a bit higher. Now, for those of you who prefer the absolute certainty of handing your paperwork directly to a human being to avoid any silly missing document errors, you've got 2 primary walk-in locations. You can head over to Atlanta City Hall at 55 Trinity Avenue Southwest, or you can go to 2 City Plaza at 72 Marietta Street Northwest. They're open Monday through Friday, 8:15 a.m. to 5 p.m. Section 4, managing your water bill. Now that we've got the water flowing, we need to understand exactly how to read and manage these monthly costs. When you tear open that first bill, you're going to see your usage measured in something called A CCF. So what in the world is a CCF? It stands for centum cubic foot. It's equal to exactly 100 cubic feet of water, which translates to 748 gallons. That is the crucial metric you're being billed for every regular 28 to 32-day billing cycle. Just imagine about 750 milk jugs. That's one CCF.
So how does this actually hit your wallet? The City of Atlanta uses a tiered billing structure that's really designed to encourage conservation. Everyone starts with a minimum base charge of $6.56 for water and sewer. From there, your consumption is billed in tiers. Tier 1 covers your first 1 to 3 CCF. If you use more, you bump it to Tier 2, which is 4 to 6 CCF, and anything 7 CCF or higher falls into Tier 3. As you move up those tiers, the cost per CCF gets more and more expensive. So managing your usage is literally what keeps you in those cheaper brackets.
Finally, that brings us to Section 5, troubleshooting and support. Let's do a quick reality check on handling late payments and service interruptions.
Listen, life happens, but if you miss a payment due date, you're going to get hit with a financial penalty. The late fee is either $5 or 5% of the total bill, whichever's greater. And it gets worse. If your water service is actually disconnected because of non-payment, you're going to have to pay your past due balance plus a $45 reconnection fee just to get it turned back on.
But hey, if you find yourself falling a bit behind, don't panic. Atlanta DWM has partnered with a really great service called Promise Pay. It's a super flexible, interest-free solution to manage outstanding balances. You can enroll online in just minutes, you pay literally $0 in interest or late fees on your installment payments, and best of all, as long as you keep up with your plan and pay your new current bills, it guarantees your water stays connected.
Okay, but what if you get a massively high bill and you suspect a leak or maybe a faulty meter? You do have the right to appeal to the Water and Sewer Appeals Board. But check out these stats from a recent Fox 5 investigation. Looking at 15 months of cases, the board granted bill adjustments only 22% of the time. That means 78% of adjustments were denied. Now, the municipal code says that if you find a leak on your property and show proof that you fixed it, you can be credited for up to 2 months. But you absolutely cannot blindly rely on the appeals board to waive your bill if no leak is found. Proactively keeping an eye on your own usage is just vital.
One last huge warning. What if your service is interrupted and you receive a notice of violation for unauthorized usage, or your account is flagged for illegal consumption? Under no circumstances should you try to turn the water back on yourself. That is strictly illegal. And to fix this, you cannot just log into the online portal. You must visit the WM Investigations Unit in person at 651 14th Street between 7:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. There are 0 exceptions here, and they only accept certified funds, like a money order or a cashier's check, to reestablish your service.
Well, we have covered a tremendous amount of ground today, but I do want to leave you with a quick disclaimer. While we've mapped out the definitive framework for starting your water service in Atlanta, you know how bureaucracy is. Fees, policies, and operating hours can and definitely do evolve over time. Always double-check details and consult the official ATL 311 or Atlanta watershed portals for the absolute most current information.
And that is the whole shebang on setting up and managing your Atlanta water service. I want to turn it over to you now. What small changes can you make today to reduce your water footprint and keep your usage down in those cheaper billing tiers? Drop your best water conservation tips and experiences in the comments below so we can all learn from each other. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you in the next one.